such as Danny and Seth have started to prepare some of the younger guys for the postseason and the rigors that come with that?
Stories. I didn't hear you, Chris.
Sorry. How have guys such as Seth and Danny started to prepare some of the younger and experienced guys for the rigors of the postseason?
Well, I have no idea, honestly. I think they're all talking about it. I mean, Seth hasn't played in a lot of them himself, you know. Really only Danny and Dwight probably have, and George would probably be the three that can share stories. But, you know, you can talk about the postseason and then the playoffs and, you know, how important a single minute, single second in a game is. But honestly, you have to go through it over and over again to really get it to me. So this will be a great experience for our guys. Good journey.
Let's go to Keith Pompey next.
How you doing, Doc? Last game you talked about you're not really concerned about how your team's perform, you know, in the playoffs based that you're not playing teams at full strength. But it's a little disappointing, like disheartening, like you come and you want to play teams, you know, at 100%. And it seems like this is going to be the sixth straight game that you guys are facing an undermanned opponent.
No, not at all. No one felt disheartened when we were missing games that I remember. I don't remember Denver saying, oh, my God, we don't want to play this game. This is just the way it is this year. But it's this way every year. You know, it's obviously not this many injuries, but every year there's you go through a regular season, you catch a stretch where you play every team that's healthy and rolling. And then you catch a stretch where guys are banged up or teams that are actually healthy, just not playing well. That's why you can never overdo when, you know, the regular season. You can't read into games when you go into the playoffs. It's a different beast.
Yeah, but what I was just talking about from a competitive standpoint, like you guys getting up for the game, you know, seeing what they can do against, you know, other top level players.
We're competing against ourselves every night. We are the opponent every night, and we feel like if we prepare and play well, things will go well, and we don't, things won't. So I don't give it literally two shakes about who's playing on the other team. Our job is just to be ready for this game, and then the next game, and then be ready for the playoffs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next, we'll go to Rich Hoffman.
Hey, Doc, Matisse talked a little bit this morning about, you know, other teams kind of knowing him now on the scouting report, what he is capable on the defensive end. What have you seen in terms of him kind of gambling versus staying solid and kind of walking that fine line?
Well, he's better at it. You know, I think we hold him accountable for those gambles. Like, you know, I always say I have no problem with anyone gambling as long as they get the ball. You know, and so it has to be an educated gamble. I think it's great that a lot of our guys feel the freedom, but they better get it. Otherwise, you're hurting the team. And, you know, they may look good for everybody, but those missed gambles that you don't get usually turns into a three, a foul or something for your team. And so you just have to do it the right way. And I think overall, as the season's gone on, he's got better at when to take his chances.
But, you know, like, from a coaching standpoint, he does provide, you know, a pretty unique element on the defensive end, right? And
yeah, but you still got to have a team defense. I mean, if I just said, hey, just gamble every time, do what you want, I don't think that would help our team. You know, you still give him freedom to be Matisse, but at the end of the day, he has to be solid as well. And I think he's walked that line very well for us. But I would love to play against a team that allows their guys to just do what they want. I'm all for it. Line those teams up. They can get 5 great defenders. Line those teams up. We would be fine with that. So you got to have structure, Rich, if you're going to be a great defensive team, even with a great individual player.
Let's go to Austin Krell.
Hey, Doc. Over the last couple games, it sort of felt like Ben has been really effective as a roller in the pick and roll. I know I touched on this a little bit last game, but is that something that you feel like is sustainable, you know, against the playoff teams? And is that something that you feel like is a means of unlocking Ben in a half court?
Well, it's sustainable for sure. I mean, if you don't play it right, either the guy coming off is going to score If it's a threat like a Seth Curry or Tobias Harris, you need to show that's been rolling. So it's definitely sustainable. Those kids, honestly, half court, it doesn't really matter. It's just our spacing and our movement. You know, when we are when we're locked together, connected offensively, a lot of the stuff we run works, and when we're not, it doesn't. So I would say that's more important. But Ben, we have found many ways to use him. We're just going to continue to grow that. You know, I'm still learning him myself.
Last one, Bob Schramm.
Thanks, Rob. Hi, Doc. How are you?
Hey, Bob.
Good. Doc, always answer these kinds of questions, but in terms of understanding your team, these last two games, the San Antonio overtime and then the grinder against Chicago, did that tell you something about their resilience? I mean, those are tough games, and you won them. So talk about that, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know, Bob. I mean, both of those games should have been over, early. We kind of let teams back in. That happens, obviously, on the road. And but I think you always learn something in those games. Every close situation we get into, especially in the half-court situation, I don't know. There's always a play or some kind of action or even something that the other team did that affected you. So we're always looking to learn and just keep improving. I think that's what we have to do.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Thanks, guys.